Good morning, everybody. I believe it's freezing cold in Joburg at the moment. It's been a bit chilly down here in Cape Town. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for our webinar for Asata Partners. My name is Natalia. I'm going to be moderating and presenting some of today's PowerPoint presentation, which I'm going to share with you in a second. Just some housekeeping. You will see that all of you are muted, and that is so that the user experience on the webinar is not disruptive. However, we would encourage you to ask questions if you would like to ask questions, and it's very easy. All you need to do is look at the bottom of your screen. You will see that there is a Q&A folder at the bottom. You click on your Q&A folder and you can input any questions that you may have throughout the webinar for us to answer. We'll answer your questions at the end of the webinar. So again, if you'd like to ask a question, it's as simple as clicking on the Q&A folder right at the bottom of your screen, and we will then get the questions coming through to us. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to proceed with our webinar. Right. So just a brief welcome from me. I'm Natalia Rosa. I run Big Ambitions, which works with Asata on its communications and its marketing. And I'm going to introduce you to the entire team in a second. To run through our agenda, we're going to tell you a little bit about Asata and what we do, and give you some concrete examples of how Asata is actually working for Asata partners as opposed to just Asata members. I'm going to hand over to Navashni, who will talk a little bit about the Asata Professional Program. We'll speak a little bit about Asata in the news. I'll take you through the asata.co.za website. And then finally, we'll talk about some of the opportunities with regards to events and marketing for Asata members. So just briefly, for those of you who are not Asata members or new to Asata, your Asata team comprises Otto de Vries, who is the CEO of Asata. You have Hani Erasmus, who is the operations manager of Asata. Navashni Naidu is a new joiner to the team. She is the professional project and program manager, but you will probably know her from the tourism industry. And we have Barbara Viljoen, who is the office manager of Asata. We also have an Asata board, and the Asata board comprises all the major retail consortia in South Africa. They meet on a quarterly basis, and they assist in driving the agenda for Asata as an association. Oops, sorry. My apologies, I'm having a little bit of technical trouble this morning. Okay. And then myself, Natalia Rosa, and as our legal counsel, we have Elizabeth de Stadler, who helps us with very complicated things like POPI and GDPR. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Otto, who will be taking us through some of the slides until I hand over to Navashni. Otto, over to you.
Thank you, Nats, and good morning, everybody. Nats, just to check on the technical side, I'm not at the moment seeing the screen share.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to share my screen again with you. Let me tell me when you can see it.
I've got it. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Right, so once again, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. Those of you that are in Joburg will share my chills this morning. It's been an exceptionally cold morning, definitely the coldest morning of the year. So we hope you're all keeping warm, got cups of coffee with you, and are up to finding out a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So Asata was established in 1956. It actually makes us one of the oldest associations in the travel sector, not just locally in the South African market, but globally as well. And our focus and our vision is to champion our members as the channel of choice for both traveling consumers as well as members when buying travel products and services. Our mission is therefore to support our members in meeting the consumer's needs of value and security through developing and maintaining the highest levels of expertise and professionalism. So in many ways, our role is to advocate the value proposition of the travel industry as an important channel of distribution for you as our partner members, for those consumers that choose to use the travel agent and travel management company channel as their preferred choice for booking travel products and tourism products. So just to give you a little bit of a sense around the structure, we operate with a very strict code of conduct. We also have a very clear constitution that guides us. And a couple of years ago, for the first time, we also got our key members, so all of the top travel brands, to sign the ASATA Charter. So the interesting thing about the Charter is that it starts to speak about the way that we believe the industry should be committing towards the way that it operates and trades and engages with the traveling consumer, as well as with its stakeholders and partners. And the key focus areas that we commit to there are fair and transparent business practices, high ethical standards, constantly looking at ways to raise the industry's professionalism and to ensure that we're delivering a high quality service offering to the traveling consumer. If we look at the ASATA brand values that we have connected to that charter, it is about professional service, it's about ethical conduct, it's about ensuring trustworthy behavior, and that we're indicating that ASATA members are operating as market leaders for confidence, both with the traveling consumer, but also confidence for you as a partner in ensuring that you are engaging with professional market leaders in the travel industry and that you are assured of trustworthy behavior and professional service when engaging with ASATA members when delivering your products and services to the traveling consumer. So all of that leads to our brand promise, and that brand promise is to deliver travel with peace of mind. And this is a strong message that we continue to communicate to the traveling consumer in all of our consumer-facing communication, is to ensure that that confidence is there and that we are delivering travel with peace of mind when working with an ASATA member. I think it's also just important to note that as part of the work, we interact consistently with industry leaders, with regulatory bodies, with government, and in all of those interactions, the goal is to try to steer policy, to support planning and regulation. And I think we've all seen the incredible increase in the requirements around regulation in the South African travel industry. And we're quite sure that that will continue going into the future. You will see on your screen that at present, ASATA represents 95% of the travel industry in terms of market share. And this includes the head offices of all the major brands, which are reflected in the logos that you see on the screen. Parallel to that, as part of the work, we also sit on the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. We are also part of the World Travel Agents Association Alliance, which is the largest travel agent association globally that interacts on matters that affect the travel industry worldwide. And ASATA are currently chairing that forum. But we also work with a number of other associations that might well represent your brands, including the Airline Association of South Africa, the Board of Airline Representatives of South Africa, as well as IATA. And on the government side, because we fall under tourism, we work very closely with the Department of Tourism. We engage with the Departments of Trade and Industry, Home Affairs, as well as National Treasury. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of a sense of the level and the variety of partnerships that ASATA supports. And it is everything from hotel chains to international and local airlines, the GDS network, insurance companies, online booking services, car rental. It's a very, very broad mix, and it's something that we're incredibly proud of. And it's something that speaks to why these partners have chosen to work with ASATA and to be one of the partner members. And maybe just to go a little bit further into that. Sorry, this screen is frozen, Nats.
Do you want me to move forward?
If you could, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you so much. So just to give you a sense of what it means to be an ASATA partner member, I think it shows that you are providing support, industry support to the work that ASATA does. We work incredibly hard to lobby for and to support the retail travel trade, which we believe, and I'm sure you do too, remains a very cost-effective distribution channel for your products and services. And just to give you a sense of what that looks like, we work at the moment very closely with IATA and the airline associations on matters that are affecting both the travel agent as well as the airline sectors with the Department of Treasury at the moment, National Treasury. We have some challenges there with the way that they're applying zero rating on international transport. So we cooperate very closely there on matters to lobby both for you, the airlines, for those of you that are airlines that are on our webinar this morning, but also to the travel industry at large. Other matters that affect us all has been matters like the unabridged birth certificate issue, which remains a challenge, and we continue to work closely with a number of government departments to drive changes to those processes. We work closely with visa companies as well as embassies, and we lobby towards trying to ensure where possible that the processes around visa applications are smooth and functional. So that just gives you a small touch and a sense of some of the things that we do that supports not only the travel agents, but also supports broadly the providers of the products and services that we position in front of the traveling consumer. It creates credibility and trust. We spoke about the ongoing professionalization of the industry. And so displaying the ASATA logo shows travel agents and consumers that you support the ASATA Code of Conduct and that you're also committed to ASATA's brand values, which we think speaks of a very strong partnership and a very valuable relationship between you, the partner, and our members, the travel agents and the travel management companies. It also gives you a great opportunity to strengthen your network, because you will have opportunities to gain access to our members through our member directory. We also provide a number of communication platforms which you are able to engage with. And when we talk a little bit more about some of the way that you're able to use those networks, Natalia will speak a little bit more about that shortly and give you just a little sense of some of those opportunities. It also is a great way to stay informed. As a member, you have access to ASATA's member resources at your fingertips. Apologies. And that is a very, very helpful tool for all of our members. And we'll show you a little bit about how you can access that as a member on our website. So it just gives you a little bit of a sense of some of those opportunities. It's about collaboration, it's about cooperation, but it's also about networking. And beyond obviously having access to things like our member directory, we also provide a number of one-on-one interactions with our members through regional meetings, through our AGM, through our annual conference, and a number of other platforms that we're constantly reviewing and considering as opportunities to allow the industry at large to engage with each other in a meaningful and constructive manner.
Okay, thank you, Otto. Navashni, if I may ask you to jump in to take us through the ASATA Professional Program, please. Let me just check, Navashni. Okay, Navashni, I've unmuted you if you'd like
Can you hear me now? Okay, good morning, Nats, and to our guests on the webinar program. The ASATA Professional Program is not a new program. ASATA has always been the custodian of this program. Otto just mentioned a few minutes ago the professionalization of the industry. The APP program essentially is one of those catalysts. Sorry, can I just, Nats, the screen's not being shared.
No, I'm busy trying to share.
Okay, I'm just gonna go on then.
Got it, okay.
Perfect. So as I was saying, the APP programs are not new. ASATA has always been the custodian of the program, and it's most certainly one of the catalysts that contributes and is aiming to contribute further to the professionalization of the industry. The only difference now is that ASATA is very proud to announce that, if our guests are not aware as yet, that ASATA is the first and only national travel industry body that has been accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, SAQA, as a professional body. And having SAQA accredit us with this allows us to be able to be the custodians of 2 designations. The first one being the travel practitioner designation, and the second one being a travel professional designation. Now, what is the APP program? The APP program, simply put, is an online system that is developed to enhance the recognition and expertise, qualifications, and practical skills of travel consultants. Put it all together into a profile on an online system, and then be awarded a designation based on the information that's been provided. It essentially is designed to help the individual consultant achieve professional recognition from a professional body, and in this case, a SATA, and ultimately, as I've just mentioned, a SAQA accredited professional designation. Now, our guests may be asking, what is the benefit of them joining, or their consultants joining the SATA professional program? The professional program has benefits that are far and wide reaching. There's benefits for the individual consultants, for the organizations of which they form a part of, as well as the industry as a whole. Just to quickly run through some of those, as I mentioned already, and Otto alluded to it as well, APP program contributes towards the professionalization of the industry. It helps identify skills gaps, which will then assist in the planning and relevant training initiatives within organizations. And also at the same time, it helps us then put together and develop training programs, workshops, industry workshops that these consultants can then embark on as a part of their continuous professional development. It also helps target specific development areas within the travel industry, and therefore in that way helps the travel industry as a whole identify areas of upskilling. From a industry point of view specifically, it promotes the travel industry as an industry that offers a career of choice. As we may all be aware, many individuals, school leavers, believe joining the travel industry is all about being a glamorous industry. It's much more than that. So by professionalizing the industry, by having programs like the SATA Professional Program, it really promotes the travel industry as one that offers a career of choice to our school leavers. And in that way, it also contributes to shortening and lessening the employment gap that currently exists within the country. Over and above that, the APP program, based on the fact that we have consultants registering on the program, helps develop and grow a formidable database of professional individuals within the travel industry. The program, as I mentioned earlier, creates portfolios of experience and educational achievements by our consultants. And in this way, we have a database built up of consultants and what their qualifications and experience are. Naturally, the APP program, with everything that I've already mentioned and Otto also alluded to, contributes to a professional brand and brand identity and protection. It mitigates a lot of risks when organizations within the travel industry want to employ consultants, for example. If they have an APP travel designation to their name, that already serves as a verification process for that human resource process of employment as the process of employing the consultant takes place. Once again, from an organizational point of view, the APP program supports succession planning within organizations. It also inevitably helps with the transformation mandate of our country as a whole. So I think in a nutshell, those are some of the benefits that extend from the consultant through to the organization and the industry as a whole. Thanks, Nats.
Thank you, Navashni. If I could just ask you a question before we carry on with the rest of the presentation, and sorry to put you on the spot, but is this only for travel agents, or can anybody in a wholesale environment or call center consultant, for example, register on APP to get a designation?
Okay, so it's for travel consultants and anyone that's working within the travel industry, perhaps in a management position or a consulting position. Also, what I didn't mention is that the ASATA Professional Program is also open to non-ASATA members. And I think that's important to note.
Great, Thank you very much. Okay, back to me. Hopefully, you are spending some time looking through the newspapers and the news sites to see what's happening in the travel industry. As Otto mentioned a little bit earlier, we've been pushing this idea of travel with peace of mind quite strongly across both the trade and the consumer press. We write a lot of content on their behalf, and we organize a lot of interviews with Asata to talk about the travel with peace of mind brand promise. At the moment, we're quite active working with our retail members and our wholesale members particularly to feed comment around things that can position themselves as thought leaders in the travel industry. A very simple example would be, for example, the Bali volcano. At the moment, we are seeing that it's started to erupt again, so we have newspapers and news sites come through to us and ask us for comment on behalf of our members that we can push through to them so that they can give consumers a good idea of what's happening. So we work with what we call a members advisory forum, both from a retail sale perspective, where we contact our members and ask them for comment on stories that we ourselves write, but also on stories that the journalists are writing. And if you feel as a partner member of Asata that you would like to be positioned within the content that we push out to mainstream press, please don't hesitate to let me know. We will make this presentation available after the webinar, so you will have my contact details, and we would love to feature you if you're an Asata member. Next up, we have the Asata website. So our Asata website has both a consumer-facing part and a member-facing part. To access the part that is available to Asata members, you have to log in. So to log into the Asata website, you can go to asata.co.za and just click on the top right-hand side. You'll see that there's a login section there for members. Or you can visit the URL members.asata.co.za/login and log in with your username and password. If you are an existing Asata member and you do not know what your username and password is for the member section of the website, please contact Honey. Her email address is on the presentation, which we'll forward to you after the event, but it's honey@asata.co.za, and she will make sure that you have your username and your password so that you can log into the back end of the website, so the section that is only available to Asata members. On the Asata members section, we have several different areas that would be of relevance to you. We have quick guides, which give you some information around POPI, the amended BEE codes, immigration regulations, and we're continuously adding to that. So we're providing information about what's happening in the industry. We get advice from our legal counsel, and we compile quick guides that will help you with your business, whether or not you're running a car rental agency, or you're an airline, or you're a wholesaler, whatever part of the industry you work in. We also have a weekly newsletter, which we send out to all Asata members on a Wednesday at around lunchtime. That provides you with some information about what Asata is doing, not only for you, but for its entire membership, as well as what's happening in the news, both in South Africa and internationally from a travel perspective. We also have Asata membership-related documents. So if you are wanting to renew your membership, or wanting to have a look at the Asata Code of Conduct or the Constitution, you can have a look in the back end of the website for any documents that are related to that. We have information about the Asata Professional Program, which Navashni has just mentioned. There's a whole landing page there with a lot of resources for you to use. And we have something called the Travel Market Index, which is something that we have just recently added. It is a very comprehensive research study that was conducted on our behalf by Grant Thornton. And what it did was it polled the retail membership of Asata to get some insights into outbound tourism. As you know, there's very little research that has been done on the behavior of South African travelers, the size of the market, the BEE profile of the travel industry. A lot of research is done into inbound tourism. And this Travel Market Index seeks to answer some of the questions that we have received at Asata over the years from partners, from members, from journalists about the travel industry and its makeup. And then soon to be launched, which I think you will all find very interesting, is the Asata Classifieds, where you will be able to put classified ads, for example, that will be exposed to members It can be anything from distressed inventory, or perhaps you're running a travel industry special that you would like to include, and that will be put up on the Asata Classifieds. At the moment, we are very, very, very close to launching this. We have developed the back end of the site and we have developed part of the front end. And as soon as that is ready to be released, we will be sending it out across the board in our own platforms and also on mainstream press. Okay, so to update your details and to renew your membership, as I said, it's very easy. All you need to do is log into the Asata back end of the website with your username and password. I must say it freaks me out a little bit because I haven't updated my profile, sorry Otto, for a little while. I haven't had time. And I get a little message that pops up the second end to say, please update your company details. And you can update everything from the staff, for example, that are, if you've had a staff member change and you need to make sure that they're getting Asata communications. You can also update a BEE certificate, for example, or if you're a wholesaler or a retailer and you want to update your audited financials, everything can be uploaded. It's a completely automated experience. As Otto mentioned earlier, we have a member directory. So if you log on to www.asata.co.za, on the top menu bar, you will see the third menu item is Find a Member. If you click on Find a Member, you are able to look for members that are based in the different regions. You're able to search by member, you are able to search by region, and you are also able to search by member type. And then lastly, before we'll take your questions, we have an events and marketing section of the presentation. As Otto said, we represent 95% of the retail travel industry, which are a strong component of your distribution channel, and we have various mechanisms of communicating with them. So the benefits of sponsoring in Asata platforms, or on Asata platforms rather, is that you are networking with the right individuals, you have access to them, we give you exposure across our different platforms, and there is awareness of what it is that you do and your support for the travel industry. We have lots of different Asata platforms that are very specifically linked to members. I'm going to run through this little wheel, but once again, this presentation will be sent through to you, and we also have a sponsorship proposal document that we can send through to you if you are considering using Asata as a sponsorship or communications mechanism to reach. We have a website where we include banners. We also do blog posts, and we are instituting something called a press office, which will be a landing page that you can provide content for, which we will promote on your behalf to members. As mentioned previously, we have a newsletter, which we include banners on. We also do standalone newsletters, which you can send to the Asata membership base. We have social media. So we have social media that is consumer facing, and we have social media that is member facing. We have a Twitter handle, we have LinkedIn, and we also have Facebook. From a training perspective, as Navashi has just detailed, we have APP, and we also run webinars. From an events perspective, we have an annual conference. We do regional meetings in all the different areas of the country. We have Young Professionals in Travel, which is held twice a year, and it is aimed at the young leadership of the travel industry, up and coming managers. We do webinars. We host the Asata Awards. We are holding an innovation summit next year in March, and we do CEO breakfast. So in terms of the CEO breakfast, just to unpack that, we run that twice a year, and that is a strategic session where all the CEOs of the retail companies in the country come together, and they spend half a day together talking about the travel industry, where Asata is going, what Asata needs to be focusing on. It's a really, really great platform to communicate with the heads of the consortia. In terms of the Innovation Summit, Otto, do you want to just jump in and give a quick summary of what we're planning to do there?
Yes, sure. So just to sort of touch on that, it's something that we haven't done before. It is new. The focus there is really to talk about innovation as a principal concept around how the industry and the way that we engage with customers, the way we access content, and the way that we're able to then distribute that information is constantly being is constantly seeing change. And so we need to constantly see where there are innovation opportunities as an industry collectively to ensure that we remain relevant and that those opportunities are there for us to continue to contribute and add real value to the traveling consumer. So this is a first, and I think we are currently developing the speaker and content profile, and we're very excited about where that is going. And so obviously watch this space, because I think it's going to probably become quite a critical component, either as a standalone event, as we are doing early next year, or it may be more in future incorporated into our annual conferences. Thanks, Nats.
No problem. So in terms of our conference, we are looking to host the conference on the sidelines of World Travel Market Africa next year in April. It's going to be in a slightly different format to what we have done in previous years, and the ISATA Awards will probably be held in conjunction with that. All of these platforms are traditionally good platforms for you as an ISATA partner to reach the retail travel sector. All the key stakeholders attend conference, and the Innovation Summit we are also ensuring is quite a high level event. And then, as I said, from a regional meetings perspective, we hold those across the country, and we are doing them in two different ways. One of them is going to be a face-to-face version of a regional meeting, which we've traditionally done. And then we're also going to be doing a CEO webinar with Otto, so that we can reach more people across the country. Because as you know, it's difficult to get people out of their offices. And although I know us Cape Townians like to have a little bit of wine in the evening, and so we usually come out in force, when you are speaking to travel consultants and travel stakeholders in regions like the Free State, for example, it's probably easier to reach those through an online platform like a webinar platform. I think that basically is it from a sponsorship perspective. So I'm going to just allow anybody who wants to ask a question to do so. It's as easy as clicking on the Q&A section right at the bottom of the screen. You type your question and then we will answer it on your behalf. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, but just before I do, you'll see all our contact details on the screen. And once again, I'll send the presentation through to everybody who attended so that you have access to this information. Okay, so in terms of questions, if I could just kick one off, Otto, and I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, so please forgive me. What does it cost to be an ISATA partner, or is there a kind of varying array of what partners basically have to pay to be an ISATA member?
Thank you, Nats. No, that's not putting me on the spot at all. That's absolutely fine. So we have obviously different ways that we are able to engage partners from a membership perspective. The standard process is to join and become a fully fledged partner member, for which there is an annual contribution of just over 22,000 Rand a year. But there is opportunities also to engage us in a number of different sponsorship platforms. So whilst we touched lightly on some of the sponsorship opportunities, these are bundled in different ways, and we are very flexible in how we can put together the right bundle that meets your expectations in terms of how you would like to engage with ISATA and its members through the various opportunities and platforms that we have created. And for some of those sponsorship platforms, not all, but for some of those platforms, the membership is included in the price.
Ah, great. Okay. We have a question. Can any travel industry company be an ISATA member? Do you have to run through the same type of requirements as a retail member? Do you have to submit your financials and all of those things?
So thank you. Yes, the membership requirements differ from each of the member categories. So we have a member section, which does incorporate the wholesale or tour operator members, but there is a slightly different requirement in terms of how they present financials and other expectations in terms of criteria. For the partner members, that does not apply. Partner membership is very simple in the way that it's been structured. And there aren't such strict requirements around financial submissions, etc. So that process is a lot simpler. It should be quite an easy process for people to go through, and you're able to do that process online. So Nat's just touched on that briefly. There is a full online application process, but if at any stage during that process you need any assistance, you can contact Honey in our office, and Honey would be more than happy to help you through that.
Okay. Another question. If you are a member of a SATSA or a BASA, why would you need to be a member of ISATA? Surely being a member of one association is enough?
So I think it's important to note that the different associations represent different stakeholders, and as a result often have different agendas. So if, for example, you are an airline and you are a member of BASA, the Board of Airline Representatives is very, very focused in its outputs in terms of how it supports its airline members, primarily in operational and in government matters. However, the membership that you would enjoy through ISATA is very different. This is about partnering with an association that represents what we believe is still a very critical and very valuable component of your distribution. And it's about showing support and commitment to that, and leveraging your membership to engage with the retail as well as the wholesale members in the South African market that are selling your products and services. And that would apply across all of the other partner members as well. Car rental, you have an association called Savrala, but they too are very focused in terms of dealing with operational matters and legislative matters that impact your sector. They, for example, do not get involved in anything related to the consumer or consumer facing. And that also applies to BASA, by the way. So if there are any concerns with regards to consumer matters, they don't deal with that. So there is different value propositions, and the value proposition that relates specifically to ISATA membership is really about showing loyalty and commitment and support to an important distribution channel. And then the number of different value propositions that we present that are not similar to what a lot of the other trades associations are delivering.
Okay, great. But you do work with the other associations when there's something that isn't of common interest, like, for example, the unabridged birth certificates.
Absolutely. We work incredibly closely together. We have a very cordial and a powerful partnership with probably all of the primary associations that represent the different products and services, from car rental to accommodation to airline. We work very closely with all of them, either directly on matters that affect each of the sectors, or collectively. All of us are also members of the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. We are all board members of that association, and that is a very strong representative forum when it comes to engaging the stakeholders in the larger travel and tourism sector on government matters and policy and legislation that impacts us. So to your point, we work very closely with other associations and through the TBCSA on unabridged birth certificates and any legislation that may hinder the opportunity to continue to grow the sector collectively. So yes, we have very cordial and strong working relationships with all the associations, and it's something that we're incredibly grateful for.
Okay. I'm conscious that we've been running the webinar for 40 minutes, so I'm going to close off. But with my closing, I'm going to just remind you who the right people to speak to for the different things. And again, we'll send you through the presentation so that you have their contact details. If you are wanting to check what your username and password is for the ISATA website, the members section of the website, and you are an ISATA member, you can contact Honey Erasmus, honey@isata.co.za. If you are wanting to become an ISATA partner, as you are not an ISATA member currently, Honey is your go-to person as well, honey@isata.co.za. If you are wanting to hear about marketing or communications or sponsorships opportunities, you can direct those inquiries through to me, natalia@bigambitions.co.za, natalia@bigambitions.co.za. And if you have a general inquiry that you're not sure who it needs to go to, but you want to speak to somebody at ISATA, Honey is probably your right person there. And Navashni deals with anything that is APP related. So for the ISATA professional program, that's Navashni@isata.co.za. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. I think, Otto, we need to start doing these webinars a little bit later in the day when it's not so cold. But thank you everyone for logging on, and we look forward to engaging with you at ASATA, and look forward to more of your questions. Have a great day, everyone. Cheers.